girl, nobody's gonna hand you that A. Like, I'm working for it. I'm just not gonna try to go and play hide and seek for my A. Like, I'm gonna work hard and get it. Everyone in the group chat started popping off, like, what the heck? The average of the class for the first exam was 40%. 40%. I was like, okay, so he's one of those. Hello everyone, my name is Yesenia Lemus and welcome back to my channel. If you've been following my recent videos, you will know that I am trying to go into PA school. So some of the requirements for PA school, I basically have completed most of them. I just have a couple courses left. And the first course that I was going to be taking was Chem 101. A couple years ago, I did take an introduction to chemistry. I did fairly well. I got an A. The class was fine. It was enjoyable. So I figured, okay, Chem 101 shouldn't be too challenging. I've already have a really good foundation. I read up like 2-3 chapters ahead, so I felt really comfortable. But because of the timeline and because of when I decided to go back to school for the winter semester, all of the professors that were really good were already taken up. All of their waitlist was completely booked, so I just had to basically get the worst of the worst. So I went ahead, and this is a website that I always tell people to go and check out their professor. It's called ratemyprofessor.com. I will put a link in the bio so you can go and check out your professors before the semester starts. That way you can see what other students have to say about them. If this professor has a lot of reviews, the reviews are pretty spot on. It tells you their level of difficulty, if they would retake the professor again, and then basically what their rating is out of 5. So for this professor, I don't remember exactly what the rating was. I think it was like a low 3, high 2s out of 5. And then in terms of their difficulty, it was a 4 out of 5. And then in terms of whether they would retake this professor, it was like 30% would retake. So that's already like a sign that this is a bad professor. But because I had like a plan, I had a schedule, I had to take in the winter Chem 101, and then in the spring I was going to be taking Chem 102 and biology like 101. But because of what I'm gonna tell you guys, my schedule kind of got all thrown off. So I usually don't go with a professor that's I can already see that the ratings are bad, but because, you know, I had this schedule, I was like, you know what, how hard can it be? I'm already like, I think I'm a pretty good student, like I can do this. So here I go. I'm 1 week into the course, and right off the bat I kind of realized some things that I like and some things that I don't like. I really like that this professor, even though this course had like timed schedules, you did not have to attend those meetings. Those were more like office hours, so whoever had a question could just hop on Zoom and ask the professor questions. So I really like that everyone could just kind of complete the class on their own time and on their own schedule. So in case, you know, you had life, you had a job, you had other like commitments, that you can make those commitments, and then you can also complete your scheduled courses without having to like accommodate any of that. So I was like, cool, perfect. Also, another thing I loved about this professor was that this professor was very organized. He had everything planned out, the dates. He even had like goals that you should kind of try to meet. So like I said, you can complete this course on your own. He did have deadlines for specific like assignments, so he would just tell you in the beginning of the week, like, these are some goals, like you should have this done by this day, this done, perfect. So he was super organized. It was super easy. But oh, and he would also, before I start getting to the buts, he would also grade your assignments like really quickly. So, you know, some professors wait until like the last week of school and then they start grading stuff. So like the whole semester, you kind of don't really know what you have. But this professor was very good. He responded to your emails. And yeah, he was pretty, those were like the good stuff. But some of the bad stuff of this professor. So first, like the first thing I always kind of notice is the type of professor this is in terms of how he responds to students' questions. So I ask a lot of questions. I would ask the professor some questions, and then when I was asking him some questions specifically about how to solve one of the chemistry problems, the way he responded, I was like, okay, so he's one of those. Because he like made you feel dumb. Like he made you, like he would say, well, you should have learned this in Chem 10, which part of me was like, okay, like if this is something that, like, yeah, he's right, I should have known some of these things from Chem 10. And it's not that I didn't know, I just took Chem, like the basic intro to Chem, I took it like years ago. So I was like, okay, like you didn't have to make that little remark, you can just tell me the answer, and like I got the answer, and like I'll never ask you because I know the freaking answer, you know. But I was like, okay, whatever. But he also did this to everybody, and it was just something like annoying. Like, why do you gotta put a student down? Like, being a student already sucks. Like, I don't know nobody who just enjoys being a student. Like, if you are trying to go to school, it's because you're trying to get a degree, because you're most likely trying to get a certain job. Like, no one likes to go to school. Like, no one just likes to sit there and bang their head against the wall trying to figure out the answer to this like problem. Like, so that I already didn't like. I was like, okay, this is a professor who kind of just, instead of trying to work with you with the problem, he's just gonna like belittle you. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, I got tough skin. I won't take it personal. Like, whatever. I know how to do this problem now. Thank you. Whatever. The second thing that I did not like about this professor is that he would always give you really, really hard exams. And I'm talking about exams that are nothing like the quiz, nothing like the homework assignments. Like, they were just come right out of a left field. And at first I was like, so let me just tell you. So we took our first exam. The class average, so the way you get the class average, you add up everybody's score and divide it by the number of students. That gives you like a median, right? To give you like basically what the average of the class is. The average of the class for the first exam was 40%. 40%. Okay, if the class average is 40%, there is something going on, like something wrong is going on, because 40%, like, even if you have 1 or 2 students who are getting a high B or even an A and the rest of the kids are getting 40, like, you have to say, okay, there's something obviously wrong with my test. So I was like, you know, like, I'm not gonna tell him nothing, because this, like, everyone could see the class average on the grades. Like, whenever you got your score back, it said like what your score was based on the class average, and it had like the linear graph, so you can kind of plot where you were. But I was like, he has to know, like, you know. But like, it was obvious because of the previous professor reviews that he already knew, like, the type of exams that he gave were pretty challenging, and that everyone basically failed the first exams. And so then we had a group chat, right? So then I went on there, and as soon as the first exam closed and you get your results like right off the bat, everyone in the group chat started popping off like, what the heck, like, this was super hard. And I was relieved, because I was like, oh my god, thank goodness, I thought I was the only one. And then I was like, I hate to complain, but ... here I go. And one of the things that I hated was that, I'll take one problem, for example. So, you know, chemistry, one of the topics is temperature. So in the book, they gave us basically the equations to convert temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius and even to Kelvin. And so I was like, okay, cool. So like, all of the problems in our homework assignment, all of the problems from the book were basically how to convert like temperatures, right? But this professor gave us an equation on how to come up with the temperature conversion scale. So like, why would you have us do that when the problem in the book gave us all conversion? I don't know. And then I was like, why do you have to make it like that extra step? Like, so that really irritated me. Like, I got that problem right just because I had read the book in detail and it said in the book how to do that. But like, all of the problems were not about how to create a like new conversion temperature scale. They were all about how to convert from like Kelvins, or not from Kelvins to Fahrenheit, Celsius, whatever. So I was like, why would you just like, this is someone who's really passionate about chemistry, which I appreciate, because usually that means that you care about like the material and like the students learning. But like, not everyone who's taking Chem 101 is trying to be a chemist. Like, I just need to take this course for PA school, which in my opinion, I don't really even think that chemistry matters that much when it comes to being a PA. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm like, yeah, I just don't know why it would matter. Like, I can understand why you should have like a good basic understanding of chemistry, but like, why do I need, like, I'm never gonna ever pull out a periodic table to like administer a medication. So I'm just like, why? I'm obviously really annoyed, as you guys can tell, but I was like, okay, whatever. So, you know, here I am, first week, everybody bombs the first exam. I bombed the first exam. My friends bombed the first exam. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm like, I'm going to continue. This week, or this course, is only 6 weeks. So it's a very compact course. Usually what would take like 13 weeks is being covered in half the time, 6 weeks. So I was like, you know, it's my first time going, well, it's not my first time. I was a student like a year ago. So I was like, you know, it's been a while, but I was like, I can do this. Like, I want an A, like, I want this, I'm gonna get it. So I was like, okay, I wasn't afraid of going back to school. I was just like a little bit nervous about the type of professor that I was gonna have. So I'm like, you know, my first exam, I bombed. It's fine. I'm going to keep on doing well. He put out an email and it said that usually the first exam, every student does very poorly. But as the time goes on, if you continue studying, the exams get easier. Which I don't understand, like, why do you cause that unnecessary stress on students? Like, I'm not saying just hand out A's and like, let's do a mock of the exam and you apply the same questions on the exam. Like, no, like, I understand, I'm gonna put in the time and effort, but like, why do you make it like a challenge? Like, So usually what happens at a lot of schools is that the department determines what exams every professor gives in order for it to kind of be like even, you know, because you don't want one professor giving out a super challenging exam, another professor giving out a super easy exam, and then you have grades that are definitely skewed, right? So I asked one of my friends who's also taking Chem 101 with a different professor but in the same school, and I told her, hey, what kind of questions did you get on your exam? Not like, you know, let me know so I can cheat, but I was like, what type of questions did you get? And she told me that a lot of her questions were directly from the textbook, like very, very similar. The like elements were moved, but it's the same concept. And then I told her like the type of questions that I had, and she's like, that sounds actually pretty different. Like, that's just not what I had. And obviously her and her entire class average was very, very high and very well. And then I told her about my class average and she was like, girl, you probably should drop. Whenever you have a course that you're taking and you realize like, this course is trash, I'm gonna get an F. I don't want to get an F because obviously it's gonna plummet my GPA. And then if you're trying to transfer, it's important. Or if you're trying to get a job, you know, whoever looks at your transcripts, they're gonna see that F. So you have the ability to withdraw, which means you get a W on your transcripts. But courses or whoever is looking at your transcript, you don't want to see a lot of W's because it shows that you like lack the commitment. And then, you know, they kind of assume that something bad was going on with the course, and then every single time you see that you're going down a wrong path, you're just going to drop out of the course. It just doesn't look good. So I've never had a W, but I had to withdraw from this course. So I was going into my third week, right? I took my first exam, bombed it. I took my second one, I did a little bit better. I got a B, but I was just like, ugh, whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever, I can continue at this pace. And then bam, I got sick. And I got sick, everyone that I live with got sick, and it was like, at first I was like, oh, you know, I don't gotta say it, the whole world is on like, especially the United States, is like on high alert. So then I was like, okay, so I gotta go get tested. So I got tested, I came out positive, the people that I live with came out positive, and luckily I had mild symptoms, like if I was having a cold. So I was really, really glad for that. But other people who I live with, they are a little bit older, so you know, they're more at risk. We had to take them to the hospital. But I was like feeling just tired. And you know how like a lot of pregnant women say that they do like the bare minimum and they feel very, very tired? Well, that's how I was feeling. Like I would just wake up and do a couple of things, or like open my book, and I'd just be so tired. And then I had like this underlying headache. I just wasn't feeling good. So I was sick, I had like a runny nose, I had like allergies, I just wasn't feeling good. And then whenever you have such a like compact semester, a winter or a summer semester, like if you miss a couple days, that's like equivalent to missing like a couple weeks in a regular semester, just because every week you're learning like 2 to 3 chapters. So when I got sick, I was like, I can't like make up the time that I lost in those 2-3 days where I was really sick. So I was like, you know what, this course is already giving me a headache. Like if I continue, I'm probably gonna get like a not so like competitive grade. So I was like, you know, I have to drop this course. I can't make up the time that I lost when I was sick. So unfortunately I had to withdraw. So I withdrew from the course. I got my first W on my transcript, and then I was like, ugh. And then I started just like hating chemistry for like 2 days. I was just so sick of it. I was like, this is ridiculous. How are professors able to give us some challenging exams when we have other like classmates who are having such easier exams, you know? And I'm not saying hand me the A. Like, I'm gonna put in the time and work. Like, you don't hand me the A, you know? Like, I can get the A. But it's like, why? Why do you make it 10 times harder than it has to be? Ugh. So anyways, but I ended up withdrawing from the course, and then I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, I was looking at other schools. I was like, does every school require chemistry? Like, does every PA program require chemistry? This is ridiculous. But yes, it's like every freaking course, every single school requires chemistry. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this. Just because I had one bad professor doesn't mean that the other ones are gonna be like that. And then I started to think, like, how terrible is it that because one professor is super horrible and trash, or no, I don't even want to say trash, but their teaching style, the way that they're grading is not fair. I was like how bad, like how just crappy is it that other students, like if they have that one professor that they can't get through and they get a bad grade, like for a lot of people, if they don't have that like grit, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm done with this, like this is ridiculous, I tried. And it's so sad. So I was like, you know what, I have to like take Chem 101, like no matter what. So I have to go back online, and then I had to look for the following semester. And because the registration date for winter and spring is at the same time, so all of the courses have already been taken up, of course. So who was I left with? The same professor for the following semester. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because the same thing is just going to repeat itself. So I had to register for a whole completely different school. I had to go find a whole completely different professor, and I went on there, like, rate my professor. I looked at this professor's name. They had really good reviews. They said they were super helpful, and like the exams were just like the homework, just like the material that was covered in class. So it's like, okay, perfect. And like I said, don't hand the A out. I'm not asking for students to be just, you know, receiving A's, but like, don't, like, why you gotta like play hide and seek with the test? Like, just say what's gonna be on the test so I can prepare for it, you know? Like, I don't know. So then I was like, okay. So I registered, and now my plan is to register for chemistry and also biology course during the spring semester. So I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to having a professor who's supposed to be a lot more better and like more teaching friendly. So I'm really excited about that. But if anybody out there is going through a similar situation, maybe you're not trying to get into PA school, maybe you're just trying to, you know, I don't know, go into another master's program or just trying to transfer, keep on going. I promise you that there's gonna be professors, and I've had like sucky professors before, that are gonna try to, I don't know why, but they just have like a passion to like just make it more difficult when it's like stuff is already difficult in life. Like, why you gotta do that extra step to make a student, especially if students, like, first of all, I'm paying so much money for this course. I'm paying so much money and time to study, and on top of that, like, all of your lectures are pre-recorded, so you're not even like like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just there to answer questions and you're getting paid. Like, I don't know, like, I already have to self-teach myself. Like, why are you gonna make it more challenging for me? But anyways, I thought I like chemistry. I enjoy chemistry. I just had this one bad experience with this professor. So if you're going through a similar thing, keep going. Definitely look, if you're at a community college, or even if you're not at a community college, you might be able to take some of these like prerequisite courses at a community college, so you can kind of shop around. Like, know where you're gonna find where someone just hands you an A and they're like, oh, you showed up, you did a little doodling, little lab assignments, like you get an A. Like, no one is gonna do that. But also there's professors who really truly care and are transparent in like the test material. Not like they're gonna let you know, I'm gonna give you this problem, but it's like, I'm gonna give you, you know, equation about balancing formulas and stuff like that. So then you practice it, so when you get to the exam, you're like, I've already been practicing similar questions. That's the kind of transparency that I believe every like professor should be doing, but I don't know, I guess some professors don't. So my recommendation is that if you can, go ahead and shop around. Like, this is your money, your time that you're going to be investing. Of course, you're never going to find a professor that's just going to hand you that A. No one is going to do that for you. But you can shop around to see if there's a professor who has like better reviews, who has better teaching, better grading criteria. And then of course that's all to help you have a better transcript, because sadly grades matter, and it's not like you're not going to be learning the material. You're going to be learning, you're going to be getting good grades, and then you're going to be really competitive for whatever program we're trying to do. I know a saying that C's get degrees, but you never know. What if after you're done getting your degree you want to return, or you want to get something else? So if you're going to do something, I would say, like, why not do a good job, you know? But I understand that there gets to a point where just like, screw this, C's get degrees. Which, if that's you, like, it's like, you know, not everything is about school and grades and GPA. Like, if you have a 4.0 but you're super awkward, I don't think you're gonna get into PA school. Or you have no like social skills, or like you hate like the idea of healthcare. Like, I don't know, like not everything is about grades, but sadly grades are very important. And if you meet the criteria of like having that GPA, then a lot more opportunities, a lot more doors open up for you. So that was my little story time about how Chemistry 101 did not go the way I planned it, but it's okay because, you know, my health, I'm relatively healthy. I know I tested positive, but I'm doing very, very good compared to, you know, sadly what a lot of people are enduring. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And now I'm looking forward to the next semester, which it'll be a regular semester, like 13 weeks long. So the material is not going to be so compact. This professor is supposed to be a lot better. So I'm really, really excited for that. So my tip to you, shop around. Don't be ashamed. Someone tries to give you a hard time and then they're like, oh, you're just buying your way through. Girl, nobody's gonna hand you that A. Like, I'm working for it. I'm just not gonna try to go and play hide and seek for my A. Like, I'm gonna work hard and get it. If anyone tries to give you crap, like, who cares? Like, let them go take that course if they are like preaching about it so badly. So that's gonna be all for this rant. Keep going. School can be so freaking annoying sometimes, and I used to enjoy school, but chemistry, and I literally am on a forum, right? I'm on a PA, like pre-student, pre-PA whatever forum, and I was asking this question. I was like, I hate chemistry, and the response I got was like 30 other people that I don't know. These are just other people who are trying to become PAs, and they started venting about how much they hate chemistry and how they're like dreading having to go through organic chemistry. And I was like, oh, I'm not alone. So it felt really, really good. But I was like, no, I have to surpass this. Like, this one bad professor is not gonna be the like say all to my, you know, like, no. I'm just gonna end the video here. I hope you guys are safe, stay healthy, be safe, and until next time. Oh, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up, subscribe, become part of the fam. I think I have like 99 subscribers, so like one more we get 100. So yay. Until next time, bye guys.